Hi, welcome to my presentation of the history of H1N1, the swine flu. My name is Victoria Roost, and this is my final project for Bio 318 Spring B of 2021. First off, we will look at the timeline of influenza. It first began in April of 1918. This is when the first mention of influenza was done. And this is also the first pandemic that occurred with influenza, and it occurred during World War I, so it spread much more prevalently and a lot more easily due to that factor. Then when you look at 1945, this is when the first inactivated influenza vaccine is licensed for use in civilians. There are going to be a lot more vaccines and new vaccines that come out, but this is the very first one for influenza. Then when you spring forward to 1957, you can see that a new H1N1 virus emerges, which triggers a pandemic. There are about 1.1 million deaths globally, with about 116,000 in the US. The next pandemic occurs in 1968 with the new H3N2 influenza virus emerging. This one resulted in roughly 100,000 deaths in the US and 1 million worldwide. In 1997, the first human infected with an avian influenza A H5N1 virus is identified in Hong Kong. And then you spring forward all the way to 2009, which I'm sure most of you remember. I know I do. This was when H1N1 virus was first detected in the US. So what is H1N1? H1N1 is caused by the influenza virus, / is a strain of the influenza virus. And there are two different forms of the influenza virus. There's A and B, and H1N1 is considered influenza A virus. And the A and the B just refers to how the virus evolves and changes. And H1N1 is caused by the combination of viruses from pigs, birds, and humans. Due to the origins of H1N1, it is most commonly referred to as the swine flu. As for the symptoms of H1N1, they're pretty basic to normal flu symptoms such as fever, chills, cough, sore throat, runny or stuffy nose, watery, red eyes, body aches, headache, fatigue, diarrhea, nausea, and vomiting. When looking at the treatment for H1N1, like I said in the previous slides, since the mid-1940s, there has been a vaccine for influenza, and even though there aren't many treatments that you can do for H1N1, you kind of just have to treat it like a cold or a flu, take cold and flu medicine, eat lots of food to keep your energy up, rest, drink lots of liquids, and there are a lot of preventative things that you can do, such as getting the flu vaccine, washing your hands thoroughly, avoiding touching your face, clean surfaces regularly, and avoid contact with anyone who is sick. You can also, avoid large crowds or any places that there might be a lot of people, so you limit your contact or exposure to anyone that could be sick. When you look at how the public viewed H1N1 in the early stages of the pandemic, you can see that the majority of people were washing or sanitizing their hands more frequently, along with being prepared to stay home if a family member or they themselves got sick. When the vaccine was introduced, it was said that roughly 50% of the public would get their vaccine. Among those people that said they would not get the vaccine, the major concerns that they had were that they would end up getting H1N1, they would end up getting another serious illness, or just the other side effects that come with getting a vaccine. And then here is my works cited.